Tonight, new warnings as wildfires race across the Northwest Territories. Communities in the path of danger.
You know, not every single house burned, but yeah, a lot of it is gone.
The push to get out with time running out.
The wind right now is blowing us towards Yellowknife.
Paying more for gas, groceries, and housing as inflation jumps in July.
It's just frustrating not being able to have any way to save money.
Less mileage for your money and the outlook on interest rates.
It's going to be this bumpy road.
Plus, the wrap on an extraordinary auction.
It's a win-win-win for everybody, I think.
The winning bid for Alberta's donair costume and what's next on the menu.
It should stay in Alberta and be with Albertans.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina.
Good evening, everyone. There are new developments to the rapidly evolving firefight in the Northwest Territories. Late tonight, it declared a state of emergency.
The situation has been changing so drastically just in 18 hours.
Visibility from the smoke is so low, crews say in some cases they can't even see what they're battling. And with the wind now blowing towards the capital, Yellowknife, there are fresh warnings tonight. It is facing an increased risk. CTV's Jill Makashon starts us off.
It was ash falling in the fire zone 2 days ago. Now, rain and hail in evacuated Hay River and Fort Smith, Northwest Territories.
The ground is still soaked from all the rain last night. This, all around me, is a mix of fog and smoke, but I think mostly fog.
New pictures from the Canadian Armed Forces show the military effort to take hundreds of people out by plane. Today, more than 120 soldiers have moved into the region to help with fire suppression efforts and emergency coordination. 5 communities are under mandatory evacuation orders, including the hamlet of Enterprise. South of Hay River, much of that community was destroyed by fire.
The fire hall was still up, oddly enough, and the community hall. And there's some homes. There's, you know, not every single house burned, but yeah, a lot of it is gone.
Jennifer Lenny took these pictures today. She is one of only a handful of people who stayed behind. Hay River's mayor is continuing to ask all residents to leave.
We can't even send out an alert to let you know that it's coming at us or to let you know to get to the muster station or wherever because we don't have communications.
Those forced out are now gathering in evacuation centers in Alberta. Richard Funk escaped Fort Smith on a military plane Monday.
There was a red ring right around the whole town, so it was kind of freaky, but we got really good people there and they're fighting really hard.
More than 200 wildfires are burning across the Northwest Territories, even threatening the capital, Yellowknife, where a local state of emergency was declared Monday night. One wildfire is within 20 kilometers of the city. This is the Northwest Territories' worst wildfire season on record. That's true for other parts of Canada as well. In hot, dry BC, there are 371 active fires. Another one broke out near Merritt yesterday. Fire officials say it is now under control.
Dangerous air quality statements are being issued across parts of the prairies in Saskatchewan and here in Manitoba, where the Northwest Territories wildfire smoke is visible. Weather will be a factor in the coming days. In Yellowknife, there's rain in the forecast. Jill Makashon, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A heat wave in British Columbia is expected to linger in the province for at least a few more days. 17 daily heat records were smashed yesterday, with the 10 hottest places in Canada all located in BC. Hot, dry conditions in Alberta have prompted Calgary to limit water use.
It's been hot, terrible, just sweating bullets all day.
It's the first time the restriction is in place because of drought, as water levels in the city are at historic lows. And in Hawaii, the death toll from wildfires in Maui is now 101, and a genetics team is on the way to help identify the victims. CTV's Adrian Gobriel on the painful discoveries in the disaster zone.
Once the capital of the Hawaiian kingdom, Lahaina has been reduced to a seared, hollow shell along the Pacific.
It's like a bomb went off. It's the end of all of it. It's gone.
1 week after the hurricane-fueled inferno, and the scale of this tragedy is still coming into focus.
There was a kid underneath a car on Front Street. Looked like his dad was trying to protect him, but they just was burnt.
We're only just beginning to learn the names of some of those who lost their lives. Joe Schilling's family believes he died in his apartment building, assisting the elderly, unable to escape.
There isn't anybody in the family that would be surprised that he would put himself at risk to help somebody else.
U.S. Marines are arriving to assist in the recovery. President Joe Biden confirming he's ready to travel to Maui when the time is right.
I don't want to get in the way. I've been to too many disaster areas.
It could take crews 10 days to complete their search. Officials are pleading with those desperate to return to Lahaina to stay away.
It's not just ash on your clothing when you take it off. It's our loved ones.
There's growing concerns that asbestos and other chemicals released in the fire may be contaminating the air and water.
We don't even know some of the hazards that are there yet. They haven't been measured.
It's also estimated that 3,000 animals perished in the flames. Though even during the darkest of days, the Aloha spirit is shining through. Some who've lost everything taking part in the relief effort.
It still breaks me. This is what keeps me going, helping people.
More than 30% of the disaster area has been searched. As cadaver dogs and dozens of crews sift their way through the debris, officials believe the number of dead could double or even triple. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
The odds of another interest rate hike went up today after the latest economic snapshot revealed inflation went up last month. It rose to 3.3% after falling to 2.8% the month before. The first time it fell within the Bank of Canada's target range in more than 2 years. Mortgage interest costs were the biggest contributor to inflation, soaring by more than 30% over the past year, meaning the very tool used to cool inflation has, in some ways, heated up the cost of living. CTV's Kevin Gallagher reports.
The cost of fuel up is on the rise, driving an increase in the cost of living.
Holy cow, yeah, gas prices went up. Wow. It's just frustrating not being able to have any way to save money in this economy right now.
While not as high as last summer, prices at the pump are creeping up. But it's the record rise in mortgage interest costs stretching Canadians the most.
The cost of mortgage, the cost of rent, the cost of housing is still up. And that means people are really squeezed and feeling a lot of pressure.
In March 2022, the Bank of Canada started to aggressively hike interest rates, which has helped calm inflation.
The point is for more of the household budget to go to, rent and mortgage payments so that there's less money elsewhere for consumer spending on other things.
More expensive borrowing costs have also slowed new housing development.
My common sense plan is to require cities permit 15% more home building per year, or I will pull back their federal grants.
Grocery prices were up 8.5% compared to last year, with pasta increasing 17.1%, frozen vegetables up 18.1%, and cooking oils are up more than 15% year over year. That's just one expensive staple slashing revenue at this Ottawa Indian restaurant. With increases in the price of flour, sugar, and rice, they're considering increasing their menu prices this fall.
It just makes people feel nervous. They're not sure what's coming. It's a lot of guessing. Things are going up. You're just not sure how much. So it's hard to even plan.
One place where consumers are getting a break is on airfare, with plane tickets down more than 12% since last July.
Today's higher inflation rate is above the Bank of Canada's target, and economists are divided on whether it should hike interest rates or leave them alone at next month's announcement, Omar.
And that announcement slated for September 6th. All right, Kevin, thank you. There are new details tonight about the latest legal troubles for Donald Trump. He's now accused of being part of a conspiracy to illegally overturn the 2020 election result in Georgia and faces 13 charges. This is Donald Trump's fourth indictment since the end of March, with 2 federal prosecutions and 2 state cases, all allegations the former president denies. CTV's Washington Bureau Chief Joy Malbin on the Georgia investigation.
Donald Trump has just 10 days to turn himself in to Georgia authorities. Charged in a blockbuster 98-page indictment, the former president accused of being part of a criminal organization to steal the election.
The defendants engaged in a criminal racketeering enterprise to overturn Georgia's presidential election.
The district attorney, in the most sweeping indictment yet, used racketeering laws designed to take down mob bosses and organized gangs. Trump and 18 defendants, some of his closest allies like Mark Meadows and lawyer Rudy Giuliani, accused of criminally trying to reverse Trump's loss. The investigation sparked by that infamous call urging Georgia's top election official.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
The defendants accused of trying to steal election data from voting machines, pushing election fraud when there was none, even harassing election workers like Ruby Freeman and her daughter, who testified they faced death threats.
There is nowhere I feel safe. Nowhere. Do you know how it feels to have the President of the United States to target you?
Lashing out at his 4th indictment, Trump called it a witch hunt, accusing the DA of political persecution. Most of Trump's Republican rivals are defending him, at least for now.
If you think they were an overreach, or as I think on this one, they're unnecessary, it doesn't get rid of the underlying conduct, which is what we should be discussing in the campaign, which is, does this man have the temperament and the character to beat Joe Biden?
Georgia's district attorney wants a speedy trial within 6 months that not only will be televised, but land right smack in the middle of a presidential campaign, Omar.
All right, Joy, thank you. Ukrainian officials say at least 3 people were killed in a wave of Russian airstrikes in western Ukraine. At least 15 people were injured and more than 100 buildings damaged in an attack in Lviv that Kyiv claims was the largest air assault on the area since the war began. And more than a dozen people were wounded in the northwestern city of Lutsk after a missile hit a Swedish-owned factory. In Afghanistan today, the Taliban marked 2 years since it took over control, a holiday it recognizes as Independence Day. But for millions of Afghan women and girls in the country, there is no independence or freedom. As international frustration grows, aid is drying up. CTV's Heather Wright on Afghanistan's uncertain future and the call to action from Canada's former ambassador to the country.
Celebrations on the streets of Kandahar as the Taliban marks the 2nd anniversary of its return to power. For many others, though, today is a day of mourning.
Women's freedom doesn't exist. There is no such a thing as women's freedom anymore.
Mahbouba Siraj is an activist who says in 2 years, the Taliban have nearly erased women from society. Secondary schools for girls have been closed, and women can no longer attend university or work at NGOs, including the United Nations. Women must wear the burqa and cannot travel without a male guardian. And most recently, the Taliban has announced girls will no longer be able to attend any school beyond grade 3.
It's a moment of grief for me.
Mirwarid Ziai is from Afghanistan and works with an organization helping to educate those still living there.
We are outraged by this act, and I can see that more are coming.
As U.S.-led forces withdrew from Afghanistan 2 summers ago, the Taliban entered the capital with little opposition. Initially promising to be more moderate, they have since taken a hardline stance toward women.
The Taliban is the worst, most corrupt, illegitimate government in the world. But shouldn't we be on the ground bearing witness?
Arif Lalani is Canada's former ambassador to Afghanistan and says there is a lack of urgency from the West. He's calling for a return to diplomacy as a way to help the millions of Afghans suffering.
Wouldn't all of our selfies and hashtags that leaders put out, wouldn't they have more meaning if you actually had a Canadian, American, German ambassador on the ground?
The United Nations says 2/3 of Afghans need humanitarian aid in order to survive. But a lot of that funding is drying up, with governments and charities concerned any donations might end up in Taliban hands. Omar.
All right, Heather, thank you. Coming up after the break.
There was nothing left unsaid at the end.
The changing perceptions on medically assisted dying. Plus,
when I saw it in person, it blew me away.
Big plans after paying big bucks for a donair suit. A review of controversial changes to a gender identity policy in New Brunswick schools found they violate rights of children.
There's no sign anybody before passing this thing did the basic test of going, let's check other statutes and see if we broke the law, because it does break the law.
The province requires children under the age of 16 to get parental consent before officially changing their first name or pronouns at school. The Child and Youth Advocate released a report today and said children cannot be forced to use a name they don't identify with. The Premier faced strong backlash for the changes in June, including from his own cabinet. The demand for medically assisted deaths is growing in this country, with Quebec leading the way. There are concerns from the independent body that monitors the strict practice that it's no longer being seen as a last resort. Tonight, CTV's Vanessa Lee speaks to the family of a prominent judge who, like so many, made a difficult decision.
Like thousands of families in Quebec, Elizabeth Gomery's has experienced the heartbreak of losing a loved one who chose to die.
It was hard. I felt anger at the beginning. I won't lie, right? Like you feel anger, you feel that this is selfish. But at the end, I was like, this is him being who he is and going the way he wants to go.
Her father, Quebec Superior Court Justice John Gomery, received a medically assisted death 2 years ago at the age of 88. His health had deteriorated after suffering 2 strokes.
What he wanted was to leave while he still had his independence and his dignity. That was the single most important thing for him.
More and more Quebecers are turning to medical aid to end their lives. The province, which was the first to legalize the practice, is on track to finish the year with 7% of all deaths recorded as doctor-assisted. That's twice as much as Ontario and 4.5 times more than Switzerland.
It is used more and more commonly for condition that is far from being the cancer in the last days of life.
The End-of-Life Care Commission recently sent a memo to doctors, reminding them only patients who suffer from a serious incurable illness and who are in an advanced state of irreversible decline can receive it, warning it is a strict process.
It is there not for death on demand when we are suffering. It is there as a last step condition.
Starting next March, the criteria will be expanded right across the country to include Canadians whose only medical condition is mental illness. Vanessa Lee, CTV News, Montreal.
And there is newly released body cam video of a Minnesota family's daring escape from their burning home. Take a look at this police officer running towards the back of the burning house. 2 toddlers, aged 1 and 3, were dropped from a second-floor window and caught by the officer. The parents also jumped to safety. Fortunately, everyone is doing okay. Still ahead, Destination Canada. Madonna's world tour after a medical delay. The Material Girl is making a comeback with the North American leg of her celebration tour. The concerts will reconvene in New York this December with Canadian dates early in the new year for Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. Madonna was forced to delay her planned kickoff in BC last month when the singer was hospitalized with a serious bacterial infection. The tour will begin in London this October. A former NFL running back has tragically died in an accident. Alex Collins played 5 seasons for the Seattle Seahawks and Baltimore Ravens. He was driving a motorcycle that crashed into an SUV in Florida. The Ravens tonight calling him a genuinely kind person who carried a special joy and passion. He was 28 years old. And an NHL player who scored one of the most legendary goals in Stanley Cup history has died.
It's not out. There's a shot. It's deflected in the net off Gadsby. Bobby Bond fired it. In overtime, the Maple Leafs win it.
Bobby Bond was playing on a broken leg for the Toronto Maple Leafs back in 1964 when he scored in overtime. He had fractured it earlier in the game, but had it taped up and frozen so that he could return. That goal spurred the Leafs on to win the Stanley Cup after that victory, one of 4 cups he won with the team. Bobby Bond was 86. After the break, the end of an epic auction.
Now it's not just promotional anymore, it's about pride.
Cooking up plans for a $16,000 donair costume. Last month, we told you about an online auction for a donair costume owned by the Alberta government. Well, after more than 1,700 offers, the competition for the pricey PETA has finally wrapped up. And CTV's Alberta Bureau Chief Bill Fortier spoke to the highest bidder.
From spit to pan to PETA, the donair is a Canadian concoction born on the East Coast, adopted by Alberta.
Thank you so much.
But what's coming to this Edmonton donair chain isn't quite like anything the owners have seen.
Sort of destined to be ours, how we feel.
Last month, this donair costume went up for auction on a Government of Alberta website. Bids quickly ran into the thousands of dollars, and primetime donair won at a little more than $16,000.
When I saw it in the pictures, it looked good, but when I saw it in person, it blew me away. The amount of detail that went into it, I think if people can see it in person, they might understand why I went up to $16,025 for it.
The detailed costume was initially ordered by the provincial government in 2015 for a PSA on the risks of driving while high, and made by the Hollywood effects company that created the Undead for the Zombieland films. But unlike its film credits, the Alberta PSA was never produced, so the wearable wrap sat in storage. When its existence was brought to light, it attracted international attention.
We actually had media inquiries from the New York Times, from England, from all over the world.
The new owners plan to use the costume for marketing, featuring it on social media and at public events. But Primetime Donair also hopes it can be used for fundraisers for Edmonton's food bank.
Hopefully we can put together something that puts a smile on people's faces and benefits worthy causes.
That's kind of neat that people are talking about supporting the food bank differently with the Donair Man. And I don't know what that means, but I think it'll be kind of fun.
The restaurant chain owners will pick up their pricey possession tomorrow. So after 8 years of waiting in a warehouse, it's finally showtime for this culinary costume. Bill Fortier, CTV News, Edmonton.
And will probably become a tourist attraction. That's a snapshot of this Tuesday. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. Good night and see you tomorrow.